You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another Cabral Concept. I'm Stephen Cabral. Today, I have a great Training Thursday episode for you. We're going to be talking about how for each decade of your life, you can actually tailor your workout program to better fit where you're at in your life. And so this question, I want to thank Patrick. Patrick sent in this question. But it's going to be a whole episode because it's that important, and so many people have kind of asked it in different ways that I do want to specify if you're in your teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 100s. We do actually have a client who is 101 years old. Pretty amazing. Works out. We do in-home training in Boston as well. And one of our personal trainers travels to her home, and it's pretty amazing. So I can definitely say we work with every age category. So essentially what Patrick was asking is, he's nearing 50. He's using my book, A Man's Guide to Muscle and Strength, which, by the way, can be used for both men and women. It's just the publisher, Human Kinetics, wanted to, market it or tailor it a little bit more for guys. So I don't think there's anything wrong with obviously calling it that. That's their prerogative. Keep in mind, when I mention any one of my products, you are certainly welcome to use any one of the products that you feel is best for you, and that includes like books or whatever it is. I'm just using this as a basis point. If anyone out there is an author, you know that you really don't make any money from selling books. So I do it as strictly, this is my best stuff, and I put it in a book, and it's like $12 or $20. I don't really know how much it is, to be honest with you, but it is a great book of workouts if you're looking just for a place to start. All right, back on topic. So how do you adapt your workouts to fit your age? Well, when you're in your teens and 20s, we can just kind of start there. You can pretty much do anything. You can literally abuse your body. You can work out to the hardest degree, and you're going to recover because your body has typically much more of a surplus of the enzymes, minerals, amino acids, and your digestive system is stronger, and you still have gotten better sleep than you have when you started work and you had a family and you had kids, and then you never sleep, and all of those specific things. So, that's a fun time in your life, and you're more responsive to the workouts, which means you're going to be able to put on muscle better, recover better, but you just have more leeway in terms of trying to do heavy weights and plyometrics. But then you're getting into your 30s, and when you're in your 30s, you should be able to do those same exercises, but your recovery time might be a little bit greater, meaning that you need to be thinking about, and I would actually bracket this, it's biological versus chronological, which means a lot of people in their 30s I see, they can be doing the same workouts as in their 20s, meaning they can be training, 4 or 5 times a week with weights, still feeling really good, and they're eating pretty well. They're pretty resilient. They're doing great. Then 30s, 40s, we can lump those together. That some people chronologically in their 30s feel like they're in their 40s. They have less reserves. They've got less sleep. They're feeling more stressed. And then there's, again, those people in their 40s who might feel their age or in the 50s or whatever it might be. What I'm going to talk about now is this next age group, 30, 40s. Your time between workouts, it's not that your workouts should change. They really shouldn't. But your recovery time needs to be greater. Or you can kind of hack the system, as people like to say. You can be doing more foam rolling. You can be doing more stretching. You can be doing more massage. And you can be eating better. Now, if you do those things, you're going to recover so much faster. And that's why we see athletes playing into their late 30s and 40s now. That's pretty much unheard of in really the type of sports we have today, which are so demanding. And kids are starting so young. So what I would say is that you really have to fine-tune your nutrition and your recovery between workouts, not necessarily changing anything to do with your workouts at all when you're in your 30s and 40s. Just better recovery. Sleep, nutrition, massage, foam rolling, stretching. Okay, so now we get into that next category. And again, I have to lump 2 decades together. It's just because there's a lot of people that I work with in their 50s who are rock stars and they look like they're in their 40s or even, to be honest, I would say 30s. And they act like they're in their 30s. They've been working out. They've been following their nutrition. So their hormones are like they're in their late 30s and they're doing great. So why am I going to really have to tweak their workouts or pull back? So Patrick, if you're nearing 50 and you're feeling great, don't change anything. I mean, really, like keep going. You know by now that I don't believe in hardcore, max out everyday efforts like CrossFit. Now, I like CrossFit. I really do. But I don't believe in their workout programming or style. I don't believe there should be a workout of the day, and I don't believe that you should crush your body every single day. That's going to lead to injuries and overuse. You're just going to suffer from it. I mean, I do hormone testing all the time. I can show you with scientific lab-based studies showing that people's levels of cortisol go down, that they get more stress, that they have more inflammation. So again, that's your prerogative. If you do CrossFit, I would certainly not recommend 2 days in a row. That's for sure. So whether you're in your 50s or 60s and you're starting to just feel like, okay, yeah, I'm getting a little run down. At this point now, you could say, you're doing every other day workouts, which means that if you're just feeling more sore between workouts, try to do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then use the weekend for either a cardio day or playing a sport or just going for a walk. So obviously, hopefully by now as well, every day is walking. Every day is 10,000 steps. Unless you have an anatomical issue or you have a biomechanical issue that is not allowing you right now to walk 10,000 steps a day, which means only being on your feet for 100 minutes, that's just an hour and a half out of 24 hours, then you have to do that every day. Okay. So, but if you're in your 50s, 60s and you're like, I just feel like I'm not recovering as quickly, still work on your recovery process, the massage, the foam rolling, the stretching, but do your detoxification as well. No doubt about that. But work on the every other day aspect now, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, Thursday, Friday, weekends off, and then you can get in 4 days a week. That's great as well. And you can alternate different scheduling with cardio and all of that. So I think that's a great thing. When you get into your now late 60s, we'll say 70s, 80s, my longevity-based protocol, and this is research-based as well, is really 2 days, maybe 3 of resistance training, strength training, which means with weights or your own body weight. Has to be to failure though. And because you have to make sure your body's adapting, that it's staying strong, that it's keeping muscle mass on. Why do I say that? Because the human body is losing about 5 pounds of muscle mass per decade, which means you're getting weaker, your bones are getting weaker, your metabolism's slowing down, you're going to start to put on weight, you're not going to be able to metabolize sugar as well. Lipid levels like cholesterol and triglycerides aren't going to be able to function as properly. Hemoglobin A1C, glucose, all those things can be thrown off. So you have to keep that going. But you probably want to cut it down to 2 to maybe 3 days a week. Wayne Westcott, a lot of other physicians and doctors have shown the research saying that works phenomenally well to keep your muscle on 2 days a week, potentially 3. And then you're going to do that walking. And that walking is fantastic. And you also do a little bit of cardio. I like the upright bike. Really nice. Less, besides your walking, of course, you're going to keep doing that. But no running, nothing like that. I just think it's too much abrasion, too much banging on the ankles, knees, hips, lower back for longevity of those joints. And now when you get into your 90s or so, it's the same program. I mean, so here's the thing. As we go through the decades, we might take the normal workout, which might be 3 or 4 sets of each exercise, and take it down a set. Same exercises, but now we're going to go down to, instead of 3 sets, for a lot of my clients in their 60s, I'm doing 2 sets. All right? Keep in mind, some clients, I still have to do the total load, just better recovery between workouts, but I take down the total volume, which means now they're doing 2 sets per exercise instead of the 3, because I don't want them to be too sore, too much catabolism, too much breakdown after their workouts. So I think that's really important to look at as well, is just the total volume. And that's what I recommend. So 2 workouts or so per week in the 80s and above, and making sure you're doing that upright bike to pump oxygen through your system, and doing as much walking, obviously, as you can. Keep your body active. Do massage. That'll pump oxygen through your body as well. And of course, start to look at your omega-3 levels, all those things, with inflammation. If you feel yourself not recovering as well between workouts, a simple little poke of the finger, a little blood drop card, you'll know what your omega-3 levels are for aging and for inflammation. So, I mean, there's so much to go into, but I hope that answers your question. Bottom line is this: do not change your workouts if you're feeling great. If you find yourself being more sore between workouts, a little less recovery time, improve your recovery, that process, still feel it, make sure you're taking down your formal workouts to every other day, or doing weights workout, cardio, day off, weights workout, cardio, day off, and just, go with that pattern. Let me know if there's more specific questions. I'm, of course, happy to answer those as well. Thank you for that great topic today, and I'll be back real soon with more answers to your questions on the Cabral Concept.
I want to sincerely thank you for your support of this podcast. I couldn't do it without you, and I mean that. I truly do. I also want to make sure you knew that we now have multiple ways for you to find your answers to the most difficult health, wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging questions. You can find podcast-specific topics like thyroid, adrenal, hormones, sleep, digestion, Ayurveda, and many more at stephencabral.com/podcasts that will then link you to your favorite Apple, Spotify, and other podcast players. Plus, all new podcasts and weekly exclusive video content is being added to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Stephen Cabral. And that's Stephen with a PH. Head on over and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the exclusive content. Lastly, if you've ever found any of my podcasts or books to be helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a review on iTunes or your favorite media player for the podcast. Rating and subscribing to the YouTube and podcast allow me to reach more and more people and help spread my mission of healing throughout the world. Thank you again for being a part of this movement.